lot of people, not just you, and we're going to get into that in a second here, but a lot of people are actually switching back to Android because if you step back and you look at Apple as a company, they haven't innovated almost at all in the last almost decade. You know, if you look at all the iPhones since like the iPhone 7, I believe, until now, that's 10 iPhones. That's like 10 years. And they all look exactly the same. They incrementally, you know, get a little bit better. And I think from my perspective, I don't know if this is true or not, but from my perspective, once Steve Jobs passed away, the creativity in the company took a hit because he was always about the innovation, about the creativity, about the aesthetics of the products, about creating something that people actually want to buy. And when he passed away, that, in my opinion, that kind of died out because Tim Cook is more of a strategic person, right? Like he came from another company where he streamlined the system. He made the parts that created the product cheaper. He made it, you know, he started looking for different options of, you know, let's manufacture here, let's manufacture there. And he did a great job. I mean, Apple has surpassed the $1 trillion mark. It's one of the first companies that's ever done that. And they're doing great. They're making money hand over fist, but the creativity and the innovation has taken a huge hit. And we're going to talk about a couple of things. The first one is the Apple Intelligence, where they kind of missed the mark, right? Whenever ChatGPT came out and literally blew everything else out of the water, they had already talked about internally within Apple of creating something similar to replace Siri. But there was a lot of conflict about, you know, what that was going to look like, how was that going to work. Right. So the guy that was in charge of it wasn't in the camp of the LLMs, the large language models. He didn't think that was going to be the future. He thinks that was just going to be a fad. He thinks it was going to be a gimmick. And he kept trying to iterate on the current Siri, which is why Siri currently sucks. It's not what they promised. And like 2 or 3 years ago when the iPhone 15 came out, which is when I got mine, they advertised that it was literally, the advertisements were made for Apple Intelligence. Like that's literally
I remember
the
that's
reason
why
they
I
were
got
pushing
my
that.
phone.
Yeah. And then they started, you know, running all these ads, and they had the announcement, you know, that they have every year, and they announced all these cool things that Siri was going to be able to do. And here we are 2 years later, and none of that is available. We can create little emojis and little custom emojis. Like, who the hell does that? Like, I opened it the first time I got that update. I opened it and I created a couple, and I haven't opened it since. Like, it's literally useless. So
it is useless.
Yeah, so the whole Apple Intelligence, and now they're being sued because of the false advertisement, because they promised all these things that haven't come to fruition yet. So that's just one example of just where Apple has completely dropped the ball because they don't have their eye on innovation. It's just iteration.
Yeah. I agree. And it's funny you mentioned the emoji thing, because I was like, I used to go in every once in a while. I would go in. I was like, I want to create like a custom. I want to see if I can create one that does exactly what I'm thinking. It's so bad.
It's
that
horrible.
Like,
you got to try
it
like
doesn't,
3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 prompts, and it still doesn't do what you want it to do. So,
no, it's not a good, it wasn't good at all. And I think the crazy thing about the Apple Intelligence problem with the AI being so more advanced than Apple Intelligence and not even being well integrated is that there are so many possible use cases for having an AI, especially on a phone, regardless of whether it's Gemini or, you know, ChatGPT or even Apple Intelligence, that like the idea of having an AI just being strictly on your phone creates a world of possibilities. And the fact that Apple is not just sitting here being like, how do we make this device with AI be so much more dynamic and useful is sad. And the thing is, like with Apple, is that they've always been, you know, and you're right, it might have been actually been the 10 years. It just feels like it feels like a consistent thing. Like at this point, they've always just been like lazy about their development. It feels like there's nothing cool about the iPhone anymore. That most of the time it's like, here's a new camera and it's 30% faster. And it's like, I don't need it to be faster. I want it to be innovative. I want our phones to continue to come out and compete against each other and make something brand new that's going to be exciting.